For weeks, a fragile, temporary ceasefire just barely held the entire Middle East back from the brink of total war. That peace broke down when a 5-point peace proposal from Donald Trump's team leaked to the public. The document was not structured as a starting point for negotiation. It was delivered to Tehran as an uncompromising, heavy-handed ultimatum. The U.S. administration bypassed quiet, standard diplomatic backchannels entirely. Instead, they broadcast the demands using public AI-generated posts and social media rhetoric, explicitly stating that the clock was ticking. Making these demands public before a single meeting occurred effectively removed the room for a face-saving compromise, creating a diplomatic friction that the existing ceasefire was not built to withstand. The core demands reveal why the deal stalled immediately. The U.S. required Iran to surrender 400 kilograms of highly enriched uranium directly to Washington, deliberately rejecting an earlier offer for Russia to act as a neutral guarantor. This diagram outlines the terms. Iran dismantles its nuclear infrastructure until only a single operational facility remains. Simultaneously, the U.S. maintains a hard freeze on all Iranian financial assets. The text also mandated zero compensation, explicitly denying any economic reparations for past damages. Iran's leadership countered with diametrically opposed preconditions. They demanded an immediate end to the naval blockade and absolute sovereignty over the region's waters. Where the U.S. dictated zero financial relief, Tehran required full economic reparations to cover the systemic losses their economy absorbed during the sanctions. These mutually exclusive terms left no room for diplomatic leverage. With neither side willing to grant concessions, physical violence became the primary mechanism to force a resolution. Iranian state media immediately labeled the leaked 5-point plan a humiliating surrender document. Tehran's leadership made a definitive strategic pivot. Deciding they were being cornered into a fight by the U.S., they opted to instigate immediate kinetic escalation. The first physical consequence of the collapse talks struck the United Arab Emirates, where a drone targeted the Baraka nuclear power plant. The strike hit an external generator. It avoided a catastrophic nuclear meltdown, serving as a highly calculated warning. The attack demonstrated that no allied infrastructure in the Gulf is safe from reach. The Baraka strike confirms that the conflict has officially jumped from diplomatic paperwork in Washington to active infrastructure warfare across the Middle East. U.S. allies mobilized rapidly in the wake of the broken ceasefire. Israeli forces readied their military response. The retaliation was massive in scale. Israel launched 100 severe airstrikes straight into southern Lebanon. These northern airstrikes targeted specific proxy groups operating in the region, focusing heavily on Hezbollah and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. The eruption of violence in Lebanon shatters the idea that the fallout can remain localized or contained to a single border. The collapse of the ceasefire in one area quickly correlated with a surge of hostilities in Lebanon, as regional actors moved to capitalize on the breakdown of high-level diplomacy. The immediate regional violence quickly translated into domestic panic. The Israeli government issued urgent notifications directly to its citizens. The warnings instructed the population to brace for resumed direct hostilities and to prepare for potential targeting by Iranian forces. The military escalation also threatens massive economic vulnerability, specifically jeopardizing transit through the Strait of Hormuz. This map illustrates why the Strait of Hormuz is the ultimate choke point for global energy markets. A naval blockade here restricts critical transit routes, triggering immediate chaos across international supply lines. The collapse of a regional negotiation has now mutated into an imminent threat against the daily economic stability of the global supply chain. The regional panic has elevated to the highest levels of international leadership. Major foreign leaders, including India's Prime Minister Modi, are addressing the fallout publicly. Leaders are issuing stark warnings to their citizens, urging them to aggressively conserve fuel in preparation for a severe, imminent global shortage. This impending global energy crisis connects directly back to the catalyst, the leaked 5-point peace proposal that bypassed standard diplomacy. The immediate question is whether this cascade of violence is a temporary reaction or the opening phase of a wider global conflict. A reminder of how a single, unyielding diplomatic document can ignite a chain reaction, destabilizing energy markets and regional security far beyond the initial